Oh shit. Here we go again.
Picture this, right? You're at your friend's house and they boot up Street Fighter 6 and you're like, okay, yeah, this will be fun. You think, how hard can it be? There's like 6 buttons, right? 20 minutes later, you're getting absolutely demolished by somebody doing moves that you didn't even know existed while, you're still frantically mashing buttons, hoping that something cool will happen. Welcome to fighting games where button mashing gets you exactly nowhere. Fighting games should be simple, right? I mean, 2 characters beat each other up, last one standing wins. It's the most basic concept in gaming. There's a punch, a kick, and a block. I mean, if you give anybody a controller, they can probably figure it out. But somehow these games have become incredibly complex, technical monsters that require you to have so much reaction time and incredible muscle memory. So why exactly are they so hard? Pause. When I first picked up Mortal Kombat 11 was the first one I played, I think. I thought I'd be throwing people around like a black belt or something, within the first couple hours. Instead, I spent most of the time getting juggled in the air by katana. It was not fun. The thing about fighting games is that they look deceptively simple on the surface. You have a light attack, heavy attack, kick, whatever, sometimes block, parry. But then you realize that's kind of like saying chess is simple because you're playing the game on a board. The biggest hurdle of all with these games is combos. And this is probably the main reason people play these games. Combos aren't just press A and then B. I mean, sometimes it is, but normally it's more. We're talking about frame-perfect inputs that require you to hit buttons with incredible precision, like brain surgeon level precision, right? Take something like a basic combo in Street Fighter. You have quarter circle forward, punch. Sounds easy, right? But you've got to do it at the exact right time with exactly the right timing while your opponent is in exactly the right state in the air. Same thing with games like Mortal Kombat. I mean, pretty much any fighting game has this. And if you miss it by a few frames, then it's too bad. You're probably already getting combo back and backed into a corner. It's just insane the amount of muscle memory required to play these games, and you also have to train your hands in a way to do these motions and to get these complex moves completely correct. You have to get to the point that you don't even think about doing the move, because if you're thinking about what inputs to do in the middle of a match, you've already lost. But here's what really gets me the most. This is what makes me enjoy the game the most, I think, which is the mental game. Fighting games aren't just about executing combos. They're basically high-speed chess matches where every decision matters, and you're not just thinking about what you want to do, you're thinking about what your opponent wants to do, what they think you want to do, and what they think you think they want to do. It's this crazy psychological warfare happening in real time at extremely fast speeds. Let's talk a little bit about frame data real quick. This is where fighting games go from, wow, this is so simple and fun, to, wow, this is stupid. Every single move in these games have startup frames, active frames, recovery frames. Some moves are safe, some are punishable, some have invincibility. Invincibility frames are also known as iframes, where you can't take damage during certain frames and certain moves. So you need to not only know your own character's frame data and move set, but your opponent's too. It's like having to memorize a little textbook just to play a fun little video game. It goes in the same direction with matchup knowledge as well, which can be super overwhelming because in all these games you have tons of fighters. Street Fighter 6 has like 20 plus characters. They all have, their own unique moves, combos, strategies against certain character types like grapplers. You want to keep your distance. Rush down characters, you want to learn how to block and counter. It's again like a little textbook, learning how to fight 20 different characters that follow completely different rules. And the execution barrier is just brutal. I'll watch a tournament and see players doing these incredible combos that require like 15 different inputs within like 2 seconds. Meanwhile, I'm celebrating when I hit a what's that? A 3-hit combo. The gap between casual and competitive play in these fighting games is just insane. But here's the thing that actually frustrates me the most about these games is that I do love everything about them except playing them. You know what I mean? Like, the characters are amazing. All the design characters are incredible. The art styles are always gorgeous. The music is normally incredible. The community is super passionate and involved. But when I sit down to actually play, I feel like I am incapable. I feel like I'm trying to perform. We'll go back to a brain surgeon. I feel like I'm trying to perform brain surgery, but I got like Parkinson's or something. Okay, I'll spend some time in training mode, or like the combo learning setup, or like towers, whatever, practicing these same combos over and over, and I'll start getting the hang of it, hit it a few times, and you're like, you know what, I've got it down, I'm ready. And then I go into an actual online match, try to do the same combo, and I just mess it up. I botch it, or I'm already backed into a corner because there's an actual person on the other side trying to hit me back. This slight change of pressure changes everything, and suddenly my brain forgets how my hands work and what buttons to press. But you know what the absolute worst part of all of this is getting perfect, right? You know that feeling when you lose a round without landing a single hit, when whoever you're playing, your opponent, has just downloaded your entire game plan in 20 seconds and proceeds to tear you apart like you're made of paper and there's some scissors or something. That is the true fighting game experience right there. It's humbling in the worst possible way. And the online experience doesn't help this either. You queue up for a match thinking, maybe it'll be different. Maybe I'll be matched with somebody in my skill range. Especially if you start these games late in their cycle, you're kind of screwed, I think. Because like every other skill-based matchmaking system, sometimes you get matched with people that are way better than you, and then you get shat on. Yet, despite all this, despite getting whooped every time I boot up Super Smash Bros. With the boys or Mortal Kombat, I just keep coming back. There's something so charming about these games. There's something about landing that one combo, getting that one good read, or finally beating someone in a set that makes all the frustration worth it. When you finally start to understand the mind games, when you start to see the patterns, when muscle memory kicks in and you pull off something cool without thinking about it, that's the unmatched feeling that these games can provide. Fighting games, above all, demand respect. They demand time, patience, and dedication that most other genres don't really require. You can't just pick them up and expect to be amazing in the first day. It's kind of like learning any instrument. You're gonna suck at it for a long time before you start to get decent, but maybe that's ultimately what makes them so special. I think the problem is that fighting games don't hold your hand. Most modern games are designed to make you feel good about yourself. Fighting games will flip that on your head and humble you real quick. They'll show you exactly where you stand, and usually that's at the bottom of a very tall mountain. It's not like these games don't hold your hand in certain ways. You can learn and practice as much as you want and play on easier difficulties, but they're not going to win the matches for you. So here's what I've learned. You don't have to be good at fighting games to enjoy them, just like any other game genre. Like, yeah, getting bodied online is not fun, but playing with friends who are at your skill level, that's kind of where the magic happens, I think. Finding that one character that just clicks with you, helping slowly improve your execution, learning to read your opponent, it's all part of the journey. So if you're like me, struggling with these types of games but are still drawn to them, here's the best advice I can give. Find your local scene, really. Play with friends in person. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The communities are always super passionate, and most are fairly helpful. And remember that everybody was terrible at these games at one point, because fighting games are hard. They're very, very hard, especially for me. But I think that's exactly the point. In a world full of games designed to make you feel like a winner, sometimes it's good to play something that reminds you that mastery does take time. If you have any suggestions for getting into these games or getting better at them, really, then drop it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.